Howdy! Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Step Into the Portal. I'm the Brandt, if you haven't watched before. If you have, then just hello to everyone. It's a little channel for our store, The Portal, in Manchester, Connecticut. I'm not at the Portal. I'm at my house. You'll see plays between the two. We tried this mobile setup that I have at my house, and I brought it up there a couple weeks ago. You'll see we played Venom. Larry and I did. And once that kind of worked, we bought more stuff to do a mobile setup there. So next week I will be streaming from the store, playing Meadow with Brian, who you've seen on the channel before, and he's the store owner. So yeah, he gets rights to play whenever he wants, I guess, in terms of all that. Can you hear me? Is the sound good? Hello? I hope it is. It's saying that I'm live. My sound seems a little low. I'll have to see if I can adjust this just a bit. All right, there we go. So I figured for a Friday, I just wanted to have some fun, and I wanted to think of some ways to do that. So somebody was saying, like, hey, it's just fun to watch people when they stream, just have fun. So that's what I wanted to do. So I came up with this idea. I was like, well, how could we make this more community-oriented? Because it's fine if I come up with some ideas and I play the decks, and I had fun doing that with Venom, because I can play Venom. You know, we get them a little bit early, so it's nice, and all those kind of things. But I wanted to be a little more community-oriented, so I thought, well, let me try to play other people's decks. Let me play what other people are doing. So I saw David Sutcliffe on the Facebook group. He had posted like, hey, try these villains this way. Because that's another thing that the designers were saying. They were surprised how people weren't switching up the modular sets a lot more. And I feel like when I play casually with people, either online or in person, we rotate those things a lot. But when I'm making videos, I tend to just stick to some standard stuff. So I wanted to try to do that. So thanks to David for that. And then I just had people post some decks. So I'm going to try out their decks and see how it goes. So a couple caveats here. I didn't make the deck, so I don't know how to pilot the deck. So me winning or losing with the deck doesn't determine whether it's a good or bad deck. I feel like I'm pretty good at champions in terms of all those things, but I'm not the person to decide whether somebody's deck is good or bad in terms of that. Now, if it was for a specific purpose, that would be different. So I tried to ask people, like, hey, pick one of these villains, and which one do you think? And some people told me which ones, and some people didn't. So we'll see how that goes in terms of that. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to play on Standard, because I want to bring some of that fun to the table. I think a lot of time I play on Expert, and that might feel to some people who play on Standard regularly that they're not getting to see that. So, I mean, it's easier in my book, but I don't know these decks. So on that front, I'm just kind of trying them out. In terms of that. So I'm going to play on standard difficulty, and I'm going to play with these decks, and really just let's have some fun and see how the deck goes. I may fail the first time with the deck and say, okay, this is what they're trying to do, or this is what they're focusing on, or this character, or whatever. So you can find all those things in the Facebook group. In fact, I should put a link. I'll put a link to my thing in the video here as well, so people can see that and find those. All right. Hey, Matt, good to see you. Thanks for joining. I'm sure other people will be on here as well, so just say hi when you join. If you're watching afterward, you can put comments down below. Or if you have a deck idea, you can link that to me down below, and I'll do this. So I entitled this Touching Other People's Stuff, and I've got the funny picture of Abu there from the 1990-something. What was that, before or after Lion King? I feel like that was like the big one. Maybe 92. 92 is going to be my guess for when Aladdin came out. And that's Abu grabbing the gem. Touch nothing but the lamp, or whatever it was there. So, all right, so we're going to have some fun today. We're going to play some of these different decks. I've got two decks that I'm going to play here. The first one is a Gamora deck from John Brown, and the second one is a Thor deck from, I forgot, Brian Ingram. That's what I thought, but I just want to make sure I didn't get it wrong. So we're going to try those two out today and see how that goes. I'm going to play the first one against Nebula, and it's this Nebula deck that David Sutcliffe had designed, or, you know, encounter. And then the second one is going to be Thor versus Zola with the Bands of Badoon in place of the minions. So we'll see how all that goes. So, all right, let's go down to our table here. Don't have everything quite arranged. So the Nebula deck is regular Nebula. I've got the standard encounter set. I removed the expert ones, again, because I haven't even really played these decks, so I've got to try to see. And then it includes the Weapon Master and the Experimental Weapons. So the idea here... Is this one of these Weapon Master? Yep. The idea here is to build up a really big nebula that you're trying to fight off, but not worry so much about the space pirates and other things like that. I assume the Milano is included. I know the Power Stone, because otherwise I can't control Nebula's ship, so I think that should be included as well. I think it has to be included. It's basically required here, so I assume that is how that one would go. So that's basically the idea here for Nebula. So we're going to do this one here. I'll shuffle that again in a minute. And the Gamora deck is focused around Gamora triggering her abilities here on her hero side. So it's all about getting finesse and precision at every moment possible. You can do it each per phase. I was trying to do this a lot with Venom, so I thought that was kind of an interesting idea. So we've got kind of Nebula's kit of cards here, hit and run and endurance, multitasking so that you can deal the damage with that, double resource, we can kind of put that with endurance, more hit and run. Then the counterpunch would be to deal damage on the off turn, and then a whole bunch of cards that deal damage 2 at a time. So the counterpunch will hit. First hit deals 2 damage, press the advantage deals 2 damage. So it's just really cheap, low cost curve, trying to make high use out of those things. I think he was saying that some of these hit and runs could be replaced as well, or these could be clear the areas if those were better. In terms of all those things. But this is the idea with the deck. And then there's 2 allies at the end here. Starhawk and Ironheart, again, for the cheap cost and ability to help block and do other things. So that's the idea behind the deck. So it looks like just boom, 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 little hits one after another. I do wonder if in here, because there aren't the extra ones, if I should actually put the clear the areas in. So I think I am going to switch that out. That was the suggestion, and I think they're going to make more sense in here than multitasking, because there's not really a lot of side schemes. Now I'm going to get 3 side schemes, now that I changed the deck. So, alright, so let's see how this goes. We shuffle up. Nebula's got 14 health. We'll shuffle this just a little bit more to make sure. Boom. We're going to draw 2. We get no technique attachments. We're going to throw down 2 on here. Let's start with the Gamora here. All right. See how this goes. My desk is a little more cluttered than it normally is, so let me know. I've got pieces everywhere. In terms of that, here's the Thor deck I've got up in the corner here as well. You'll see. We'll push that behind my face, my beautiful face. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope things are going well. I hope Champions is going well. We just saw the the Hood pack put up on the Fantasy Flight page. So that looks exciting in terms of the other encounter sets we can shuffle in, give us more range of difficulty without just calling it something or trying to work towards something. So that should be interesting. I can now play Standard Expert 2 or Expert 2 Standard, whatever. So it should be kind of interesting in terms of that. All right, let's see what kind of draw we get. So set the pace, True Grit, press the advantage, Decisive Blow. So we really want these 2. This is going to maximize some damage. And then we want to be able to steal that stone. So True Grit is after we defend, remove threat from a scheme equal. Oh, and it's a thwart on the defense. So we're going to get rid of that one and draw. Ooh, we got the sword, huh? That's interesting. All right, then we will trigger Gamora's ability. What is it? Is it her skilled tactician? No, it doesn't have a name. And we draw a hit and run. All right, so we want to flip over here. We want to hit Nebula. So I think we first set the pace, which will remove 1 here. Deal a damage, 13. Then we want to figure out if we want to get the sword down and then do the decisive blow. I think that makes sense for maximizing our damage. So we'll put that down. Then we will do Decisive Blow, which will deal 7 damage because we played a thwart event, and then we can deal 1 after. So that's going to bring her down to 6, 7, 5. Then we'll steal the Power Stone. We played an attack event, so we remove that. We didn't end up using the Milano. I guess we could hold something. So we'll hold to press the advantage, I guess. I don't want to hold the hit and run. I think I actually want to hold hit and run. And then we can attack for 1, 2, 3. So there's a pretty good way of dealing a lot of damage. We dealt with the threat that's there and do all that. Nice. Yeah, let me know ideas you have. There, Rob. Thanks for joining in between your 2 work shifts. I hope this is something enjoyable to do in terms of all that. All right, so we will draw back up. And we've got our acrobatic move and a hit and run, so we've got plenty of damage here. If we want to deal it, we can open with that, and then we can play the hit and run, and then we can play the acrobatic move, and that's going to be a reasonable amount of damage. So we can take her down pretty quick. So it's kind of a speedy deck in the way it's happening here. All right, so barrel roll, we'll add 1. Or sorry, not barrel roll. Nebula ship, we'll add an evasion counter, and then we'll add 1 here. And she's going to attack me. I think I'll just take it. It's going to be 2 plus 2 is 4. So I go to 6. I don't have anything to defend with, so I think I'll just keep my attack. I might be able to take her out next turn. And then we will draw Hull Breach. I will take 3 more damage. And I'm now at 3. No retaliate here, so we should be good. All right, so we'll play Acrobatic Move to deal 2 damage. Remove 1 threat. The 2 damage will flip Nebula. Which, the one saving grace with her is she doesn't do too much in terms of changing stages, or getting rid of her techniques is trickier, but other than that, oh, she hit me, so she has the Power Stone. Then after that, we deal 1. From the sword. Then we will play Milano. I'm not going to worry about that, I guess. So we'll use the Milano to play hit and run. So that's going to deal 2 damage, remove a threat. No, we already did that. Then it's going to remove 2 threat and deal a damage. Oh, if we didn't remove the threat, we probably don't trigger. After you play a thwart event. Okay, no, I think it would still trigger there. We will do that. And then we deal 1 damage from the sword from playing the attack. Wow, that's interesting. Acrobatic move, then we'll deal 2 damage. And after we do that, we deal 1. And now the question is, I can flip down, because otherwise I'm going to take that damage. So I think it makes the most sense. I'll probably lose this scheme. But hopefully that will be okay. We'll be able to finish her off next turn. So do I want to heal in case she gets retaliated? I guess I can figure that out next turn. So I will deal the 2 damage while I can. Bring her down to 7. Flip. Draw for an event. It is not. It's a conditioning room. And then we will ready and draw back up. All right, so this could be a 3-turn knockout if things go well. What do we have here? We drew a cross counters. That was an idea we could have stayed. We've got the momentum shift. The forward momentum could deal a damage. Let's see. So that's 2, 3. We can attack her 4, 5. Where are we going to get our other damage? I don't know. Maybe Starhawk 6, 7. All right. So we should have enough. Finish her off. Let's see how it goes. Oop. 7 modules. Yeah. The 7 modulars and hood will be certainly really interesting. So we'll see how all that goes. All right. Add 2 here. There you go. Oh, yeah. So Rob here is saying to put in all the Hydra stuff. Legions of Hydra, Hydra Patrol, Hydra Assault, Bomb Scare, Captain America Nemesis set, Black Widow Nemesis set, Spider-Woman Nemesis set. So that was one of the ideas that David had too, was to do Red Skull with the Nemesis sets. I love that idea. I love that stuff. I'm not as big into custom content. I'm not against it by any means, but like printing it out and figuring all that's a little trickier for me, I think. And not really knowing what the designer's balance would be versus community, which I'm sure the community does a great job. But that kind of stuff where you could just switch it up, you know, those kind of things. I think putting those Nemesis sets in are kind of interesting, certainly thematically. All right, so she's going to scheme for 3 plus 1 is 4, so I'm going to lose Art of Evasion. So hopefully this would be the intent. Place 2 evasion encounters here, so I'm letting that go. I better have the damage. And then discard 2 cards from the top of each player's deck and the encounter deck per those. So 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have a lot of 3-ofs in the deck, so I don't think there's too much that we're worried about. Oh, I got to find this, I can't find that, etc. So we should be okay on that front. And then this will flip over and have 3 on it. So our only worry here would be if we scheme again. And then she'll draw her encounter card, which is Cannonade, and that's going to have 4 on it, increase boost. So we should be able to deal our 7 damage here and get this done. So I'm going to... Do I want to save cross counter? Oh, I get myself in a mess. I had the damage, right? Momentum shift. These 2. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I've got it. So I don't need to mess around too much here. All right, so let's flip for an event. Hit and run. Let's get rid of forward momentum to play Conditioning Room, and we'll exhaust it to heal 1 and take our bottom event, which is True Grit, just for a resource. We will flip. We will play Starhawk. We will attack Nebula for 2. And then we will play Momentum Shift. So that will heal 2 damage from us, deal 2 damage to Nebula, and then we'll deal 1 afterward with the sword. And remove a threat. Wow, yeah. And then I don't have any more damage in my hand, but I can attack for 2. And that's dead Nebula. I don't think I ever dealt 3 damage in there. So that'd be the one tricky part against Nebula is there's not a lot of cards here that deal 3 damage. And then that timing of pulling cross counter, like if I knew I had it, which I think is where I have to get better playing. Did I say Nebula? Playing against Nebula with Gamora. So I think I have to get better with Gamora of holding this card in my hand. I tend to just discard. I'm like, I can't play that now. And I'm hoping to draw it as a defense, but I think she only has 2. So tossing them. So I think that's a different play style for me, is getting used to holding these. But that worked. We took Nebula down. So John, thanks for the deck. You can check it out there. I showed off the deck, and you can find his there and see where that goes. Some of these I was thinking, oh, should I play them on Expert after I play that? Man, but like I struggle to beat Expert Nebula in general, so I'm not sure that that's where we're going today. But certainly you can see what happens with this deck. Very event heavy, light on minions. I'd be intrigued if I had to flip it down again. This is low threshold, so I'd be trying to figure out something where I could do that. Even if I swapped one of these for the Confused card, Think Fast, I might try to do something like that. But I never drew the Clear the Areas, which could have been really popular or powerful. Draw a card and deal a damage, so I really like that card with her. I don't play this card enough, honestly. It's probably better than I realize that you get to draw another card, especially depending on what heroes you're talking about. Like this Nebula set, I feel like drawing another card is good because there's more cards, but it's basically another card that deals 2 damage, as opposed to, you know, somebody drawing a card that's just so key to what they need, or just, you know, changing in terms of that, in terms of those things. So yeah, so interesting deck. That's Gamora there fighting Nebula. So thank you again to John for doing that. What's everybody putting in their Gamora decks? Is there a card that you feel like is a must when you play Gamora? All right, let's clean this up. We're going to switch over to play some Thor now. Oop, I need to take out the standard cards. Yeah, I like this idea of Fun Friday and just finding something that's a little more relaxing, a little less focused around, like, let me show this off or whatever. I don't know. I don't have a strong sense of that. But feels like with streaming in anything. The idea is to try to show things that are different or powerful or whatever. In terms of that, which is where this is kind of fun to play the community decks and whatnot. All right, next up is Zola with Odin's Son. So I'll have to show this one a little bit here. As well. So actually, you know what? Now that I stacked all that, what's easier? I think it's easier to show the hero first, which I think is the more interesting part. All right, so we're going to play Thor here with Thor set. And we will put Odin's Anger up here for a minute. All right, so this deck is from Brian Ingram. He said to play Zola with this, very focused on taking down minions, which makes sense in terms of that. And I thought this was fun because people are saying, like, hey, is Thor better now? Can I play Thor? I always thought Thor was great. I think people were so stuck on if I don't draw 2 cards, I'm terrible. I have 4 cards. There were so many other things because Thor comes with resources in his kit. So yeah, you've got to get him down, but it's not like he's stuck without them. Sif is going to end up here. So you've got Asgard and 2 God of Thunder. So he naturally has 3 more resources in his hand. Not to mention he's got 1, 2, 3 cards that remove threat and add minions so that he can draw those cards. And then he's got the ultimate minion killing card in Lightning Strike. So it's just, I think it's just figuring out like, oh, I want to have minions in front of me. Like, I want to play this card every chance I get. Becomes tricky. And then, of course, his health goes through the roof in terms of all that. And this card has Overkill, which is just great. And begging for, like, Moment of Triumph and stuff like that. So, all right, so this deck has the Quinn Carrier. It's got the beat-em-ups, the Hall of Heroes, a follow-through, a combat training. I thought this was interesting. The 2 Battle Furies. I usually don't play more than 1. So the idea must be that you're just killing minions so often that you're readying yourself. So you want to have that more often. The allies are Bug, Valkyrie, and Wasp. Sorry, and Spider-Girl. I think Ironheart might have actually been in here as well. Now that I remember, I'll go back and double-check that deck. Thanks for bearing with me a little slower on all this, but I thought it'd be fun to get the people's stuff here. I think if I remember, Ironheart was in there. And then Looking for Trouble, 2 of them. Bring It and Into the Fray. I love these. You'll see me play these tonight on One Stop Co-op Shop with Rocket. Thor and Rocket definitely have a similar thing. It makes sense in the movies. They end up together. No, I think Ironheart might not have been in here. I think it was another deck I was looking at. Let's see. Nope. No Ironheart. So we should be good. The 2 Looking for Troubles, 3 Into the Frays. Yep, that looks good. So Follow Through is a card I don't use often enough that I really should use more. I just don't play a lot of events with Overkill. I'm not usually trying to kill the boss as fast as possible, so it becomes a little different. So this is that deck. You could try that out and find that on the page. So this one looks pretty interesting. The 3 dive bombs intrigue me. That's a lot of dive bombs. So it looks like I'm trying to do that every turn. And whatnot. I feel like if I had a team building exercise, it would make sense with those, because then I can make them cost 3 with that instead. But this is the plan here. So, but I guess it's just a matter of when you need it, you'll have it in terms of that. So it certainly makes sense there. Again, I'm not saying things are right or wrong, or just because I would do it differently doesn't mean that's the way to do it by any means. All right, so we're going to have Hydra Prison and Lady Sif, so that's going to start with 5 on it, and then we'll have this. So here's the idea with this one. We're going to play Zola. The idea, I thought the story was really good for this too. It's like Zola comes across a crashed Badoon ship and decides to do experiments on Badoons instead. So I have removed... Where did they go? I've removed all the minions from Zola's deck and added in the Badoons including, where do you go? The Badoon Headhunter. So, of course, this is not like official by the rules. It's just people trying to make more fun decks, which is kind of what I wanted to try to do here and show off. So this would be the idea. Now, of course, at the start of the game, I can't go and get a mutate. So the suggestion was that you pick anything. But I think I'll go just a little bit harder. I'm going to pick a grunt, which means I'll have to start with an encounter card. So I'm going to do it that way. So that's the idea. So we've pulled all those, and now all these upgrades are going to go on the Badoons instead. So we will try that out. Remember to have tokens here to add those counters. All right, so let's check this out. Thor Aggression, which I'd love for people to see how good Thor is, because I feel like he still ends up towards the bottom of lists, and he's one I really scratch my head in terms of that. He may somewhat be less versatile. I mean, I feel like you could play him in most of them, especially if you focus on those lightning bolts, but certainly people favor him in aggression. But man, protection with what is that? Ever Vigilant is crazy good. So you should definitely try it out if you haven't. All right, Zola has 12 hit points, and Thor has 14. But we have to start with a single encounter card. And Lady Sif is up here. All right, so now we'll shuffle our deck. Sorry for all the shuffling, but I want to show everything off to you. So yeah, if other people have decks or ideas or villain ideas, you can go ahead and put those in the link, or if you're on the Facebook group, you can go there and post those, and I'll try to do those, we'll say on Fridays, that I'm going to try to do this touching other people's stuff. I mean, next Friday looks good. I don't know what'll change. Got about a month, and then I got to go back to school. It's a little later here. I know some of you might have kids or be teaching in other parts of the country, well, the world even, and it might be sooner than that. But we don't have air conditioning as much in New England in our schools, so we can't really start until closer to Labor Day weekend, which is the first weekend in September, because it's just too hot to be in a building without air conditioning. So that's the main reason. Whereas if you go in other parts of the country, they tend to have air conditioning everywhere, so works. All right, we only get 5 cards with Thor, so this is what we're going to see. I don't think we need a dive bomb initially. Wasp could be interesting if I have those. I don't really have them. I might still put her down for 1, so we'll see. So we will draw, and then we'll go get Mjolnir. Did I miss it? Yeah, it was like really early on. So yeah, I really like what was Into the Fray here. So it can kind of go 2 ways. It's versatile. If you get a really big minion, you can deal 6 damage, which sometimes you just need 6 damage. It is expensive, but again, I think cost is all relative to what you're trying to do, what your goals are, more than like, I don't want to do that or whatever. So I think that's important. And then also it can remove threat. Now, some people look at this and they say, well, it can only come from the main scheme, so how powerful is that? And, like, how much threat am I going to have in solo? But I usually let threat build up so that I can play it Into the Fray, which is why I have 3, so I kind of have one when I need it. So, again, it's kind of like planning to think ahead. Like, ooh, I would want this. So I don't really want this on the first turn. I can take that minion out myself anyway. All right, so we will flip. I always forget. I always think it's a setup ability, but it's actually his action to go get the hammer. We will flip. We'll play the helmet so that we have 19 health, so we can kind of sit here if we need to a little bit. Oh, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, because we're going to draw lots of enemies there. And then I'm thinking about just putting... Do I want a 1-cost Wasp out? Yeah, Thor Aggression is great. For sure. All right, I can't really do any of these things if I don't get the hammer out. So I'm going to put the hammer out, and then I'm just going to put Wasp out. I guess and just keep her there. Not super cost efficient, but it's something. When I need to deal 3 damage, I'll deal with that. So I will attack with Thor for 3 and kill the grunt. And we'll call it a day. All right, let's draw back up. The other thing that Thor is so good at against Zola is big, heavy damage so that the retaliate doesn't eat you up. All right, so now I have options for a hammer throw, or I could get a God of Thunder down. If I draw a minion here, then I'll have 2 more cards, so I could put the God of Thunder and do the hammer throw, which will probably be the idea. I can also flip and go from there, so we shall see. All right. So that is that. We are going to add 1 threat, add 1 experimental counter. He's going to attack us for 1. We've got a lot of health. We get another test counter. We take 1. We're at 18. Shake it off. Shake it off. Oh, he's going to attack me again. And I'm stunned. Oh, where are my stun cards? Ooh, I do have them. Well, that's not good. All right. So get attack for 1 plus piercing overkill range. No big deal. So we're down to 17. And then our second card is advance. So he's going to draw 2 plus a Badoon. That's going to go to 3. And then he's going to attack me again. Wow, what a rough first turn standard. So he's going to attack me if it's a scheme. So it's just 1 boost. So 2 more. So damage I'm okay. But man, he attacked me a lot. Luckily it's just the 1 there. For all that. Oh, but I did get a minion, so that triggers Have at Thee. All right, so Bring It is a really neat card because I can now play Bring It, and I've got 1 minion. So my only question would be, am I going to draw somebody that's going to give me more minions right now? It doesn't look like it. So I can play Bring It and just cycle it. So it's never really a bad card to have. All right, I will put down my God of Thunder. And then I can use those to play this, and then I don't have enough for that, huh? So would I rather just put the Quinn Carrier down? If I put the Quinn Carrier down using the God of Thunder, then I could just hold a card. All right, well, I guess I'll do that. So 3 for that, and then 1, 2, 3, and I can, hold on. 1, 2, 3, play, oh, I've got to exhaust first. Remove my stun. Oh, yeah, so it does say that. So if you missed the beginning, I'm playing with some alternate ways that somebody made the villain on the Facebook page, David Sutcliffe. So he said to replace them with the Badoons. So I don't have Zola's other minions in the deck. So again, I know for some people, and I tend to be more like this, it's like, ooh, I don't want to break, you know, what the designers said. But I thought it'd just be fun. It's a different thing to try. Somebody said it was fun. So I've removed these minions, and I put in the Badoons. So then, kind of to make it hard on myself, I started with a grunt in play. So that's why it's a little bit different in terms of this one. So then I'm going to play the hammer throw. Oh, right. So the hammer is going to come back to my hand. And I'm going to deal 2 here and 6 to him. So he's going to go down to 6. I'm just going to keep her. And then I'll use the beat 'em up to put Mjolnir back out. Nice. Worked out well. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. We got a Hall of Heroes and a Battle Fury and a Lightning Strike. So let's see the minions. I am minion ready. All right, we're going to add 1 here. We're going to add a counter. And after resolving this step, if there are 3 more counters. All right, so we will flip for a minion and put it into play in front of us. Have at thee. We will draw and get beat 'em up and bug. So there's one of our minions we can do. So he's going to attack us for 1. And we're just going to take it because we're at 15 health. 2, and he gets a tough status card. That's a pain. And then, so that's going to be for 2. Whoop, that's his health. My health is here. And then this one's going to attack us for 3, the Warlord, so we're down to 10. And then we will draw our card. And it's Assault. Man, he is just coming at me. 1 plus 1 is 2. Luckily, I've got all this health. I guess this was the right play to play the helmet. Okay, so that's what we've got now. So now we look at beat 'em up would help us to get 1 on there. We can also play bug. We've got the Battle Fury, so after we kill him, we could ready. So I feel like these two are my favorite choice of play. I have the Lightning Strike to go through his tough if I want it. That's not going to be enough for these. So I think we'll go this route. All right, so we'll use Beat 'em Up and Lightning Strike to play Bug. Then we will... We'll play, I guess, Hall of Heroes in this case. To play the Battle Fury, we're going to use Bug to deal a damage. We're going to use Thor to deal 3 damage, so he's out. And then we will take a damage in order to ready. And Bug will heal the one that was on him. I didn't ever put it there. Did I do all that wrong? Would have had an extra card. Should I hold Hall of Heroes? No, I'll hold the Lightning Strike. Did I take the damage? I don't remember if I did. I'll put myself down to 6, and then I will attack and just get rid of his tough. Ugh, I don't like any of that. This is tough to flip down. I may just have to let that go so I can heal. So I will. I will flip down, and I will exhaust to heal back to 10. I can have Bug remove that, and this is going to go. So we're just going to let that happen. All right. There we go. We'll keep the Lightning Strike. In case we get minions, we can draw another minion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we should be able to definitely get rid of a minion that comes out. All right. Yeah, so the whole idea here, if people are joining a little bit later, is I'm playing with decks that people in the community built, and I'm playing against villains that people in the community built. So it's not like those things. Sorry, the decks are constructed from the official cards. These are constructed from official cards. There's not print and play stuff or self-design stuff, but some things are adjusted. Like I just played Nebula, and it was just change your kit, so it was normal. But this Zola one's a little bit different. So not sure if this is my best plan. I'm going to let him add 1. And then add a counter, and then scheme 2, 3, 4. So this is going to flip, but I don't often worry about this one, especially when I'm playing aggression. I try to let things go. Search the encounter deck for a minion and reveal it. All right. So we will search, and we will get the Badoon Assassin, I think, is our best choice here. All right, and then he's going to draw an encounter card, which is the Badoon Headhunter. So that will be interesting. Okay, what do we want to do here now? We can get another minion and then try to Lightning Strike. But we can only Lightning Strike for a little bit. But I think that's going to be a good plan here. So we will flip. We'll stay at 10 health. I don't think I can take that Headhunter down like this. Although I do have Valkyrie. Then we're going to play Defender of the 9 Realms. So we go until we get a minion. So it's a Badoon Grunt. Have at thee to draw 2 cards. Oh, look at that. Look at that. There we go. And then we remove 3 threat here. We will then play Bring It to draw 1, 2, 3 cards. Ooh, there's our Dive Bomb. So that will work well. 1 damage to each other enemy. All right. Hats off, sir. Dive Bomb in a good spot. All right. What do I get a minion from? I think I did that correct. Okay. So now, can we play here in addition to Dive Bomb? I don't need these. Can I get Asgard down? I can, yep. So I could put the Battle Fury. Although I don't really need to ready at the moment. Could use Bug and try to get Lady Sif, but I think that's being a little greedy. So, all right. So we will put down. We'll use Follow Through, Defender of the Nine Realms twice, and yeah, we'll put down Asgard. And then we're going to use these three plus the Quinn Carrier to play Dive Bomb. So as long as we're aerial, which Mjolnir gives us, we can deal 7 damage to an enemy and 1 damage to all other enemies. So his tough goes away. And I guess because it's an attack, we should take 1 from the retaliate. The assassin is dead. Wow. So that's the thing, is he can get in and out of trouble so well. Bug will finish off this grunt, take a damage. Thor will swing for 3, bring him down to 3, take a damage, and I think we'll start off next turn with Wasp. And Bug heals. Well done, Thor. Well done. Nice. Like it. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. That was such a well-timed bring it. But again, the reason to put 3 in the deck, right? So it's in the design of, oh, I could possibly draw this when I have card draw. So it gives you that opportunity. I don't know what this one is from. I think it was on the grunt. All right, so we will add an experiment counter and a threat. He will attack us for 1. We will take it. +1 plus a tough. That's okay because Bug can get rid of the tough, so we're in okay shape there. And then his card is going to be attached to the minion if you cannot surge. So this one will surge into, he attacks me and I'm stunned. Attacks me again. 1, 2, so I'm down to 7. All right, so I think, oh, we could try to dive bomb him, huh? Or Angela this is interesting. All right, so let's Angela. We'll put her into play. We'll search the top 10 cards. Retaliate for my second attack. Thanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's funny when you remember it like playing dive bomb, but not your own personal attack. All right, so all we've got is a Warlord. So we're taking a Warlord. We'll shuffle the deck, so not a lot of minions left. That will allow us to trigger Have At Thee. All right, we don't really want to play Looking for Trouble now because we can't trigger Have At Thee again. That works. We're not worried about threat here, so Into the Fray isn't as big a deal. So now we can play Bring It to cycle to see what other card we get, which is a Hammer Throw. Wow, do we have the damage to just finish him? Oh, I can Dive Bomb. I can't Dive Bomb and Hammer Throw. That's getting a little nuts. All right, so we'll hit him with Bug. Oh, Bug should have taken the Retaliate. Okay, so Bug should be out. When he hit him, he would have died. So I don't have Bug on that previous turn because of the Retaliate, which I forgot there. All right, so I wonder if we just save Dive Bomb for the finishing touch. Can we play these? 1, 2, 3. No. Well, we might just draw another one because there's 3. All right, we'll use Angela to get rid of the tough. That'll give her 2 damage. Then we'll have Wasp swing for 3, which will flip Zola. So now he goes to 14 health, which I don't think I have quite enough to finish him off. And then when he switches to this, I search for test subjects, put that into play, so it's an additional card. That's something I can remove next turn and get a minion, so I may just have to deal with that one. I will exhaust to get rid of stunned. And then I will play Mjolnir and Spider-Girl. Don't need to play Spider-Girl if the other. All right, so I'll use these 2 to play Spider-Girl, and I'll just have her stun and confuse him so I don't have to deal with him. And then I will use this and the Queen Carrier to play Hammer Throw, take Mjolnir back into my hand, and just deal 8 right to his face. And I will use Spider-Girl next turn. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got the damage. Hold Mjolnir. And I take 1 from Retaliate. So see what we draw, because then I can just block with Angela. Ooh, we did go through our deck. So that will be a little tricky. Not too much there. It's going to be a lot of cards, so we'll see how that goes. All right, I am down to 5 health. If he draws a 3, I would be dead. Are there 3s in his deck? I don't think so. But he has Retaliate, so then if I have to deal damage other than the killing blow, so I think I will be safe and block with Angela. 2 plus 0. Angela's out. Remove the stun on the Warlord, and then we get 2 cards. This will be tricky. So we're going to add this to him. He's +2/+2. We're going to place another counter. So I've learned these don't trigger until that phase. So there's 3 there, but I don't have to trigger it. And then another +2 without a copy. If not, gain Surge. Ooh, Shadow of the Past. There you go. So Loki's coming in, and the Family Feud. Add 2. Oh, wait. Add 2 plus 1 for each Asgard. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't actually have my hammer out. So there'll be 6 on that. So it is time to end this. Get out of here. All right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where is my other damage? Man, I got to put combat training down. All right, I think I got it. Combat training plus Mjolnir lets me attack for 4. Retaliate. I'm down to 4, and then swing with Spider-Girl. She's out. Dead Zola. Nice. All right, that worked. It got a little tricky on the threat removal. I just didn't draw those. I think it's actually here. I drew a Looking for Trouble on a turn. I didn't draw the other one early on, like Looking for Trouble or Defender of the Nine Realms. So that scheme popped because I couldn't get that early. That's just the draw. That's not the deck. And then all these into the phrase I drew when there was 0 and 1 on here, so I didn't save them. I'm not a big, like, save that in my hand until next turn. So I don't do that a lot. I tend to try to spend all my cards. So that could be my own thing there. But all this stuff came out. We didn't deal with it. I know some people always think it's funny. Like, well, you took Zola down, but not all the other things. Like, well, that's what needed to happen there. So nice. There we go. There's another successful win. So you can go ahead and try that deck out. Thank you, Bryant, for that deck and whatnot. So. Oh, she does stay alive. You're right. Yeah, I was thinking she was out, but she wouldn't take the Retaliate because it's the kill, right? So she does stay alive in terms of all that. Awesome. So that is touching other people's stuff. I want to kind of keep doing these, so keep sending me lists and ideas. The more curated, the better. If you can tell me specifically who you want me to fight. That might be me. I usually build a deck to fight a specific villain. You might say, oh, this is just fight anybody, but if you can look at that list that David made, or you want to invent one of your own, I'd specifically like to fight a villain with a different module set than what's there, because I want to show off some of that and highlight that. So if you want to put that together or pick one of David's, he's got a few more there. Kang and Red Skull, and I apologize, I can't remember what the other one is. So I'm going to try those ones. So if you can find decks to play those, I think that would be fun to do against. I'm probably going to play on Standard when I do these, just because, again, I'm piloting your deck. So it's going to be a little easier for me to do that on Standard than to do that on Expert. But if there's one you really want me to show off, like play this on expert, I'll try to practice the deck before I play it if that's the specific thing that you want to show off. So thanks everybody. I hope that was fun. Tell me about your Thor decks. I asked about Gamora decks. What are your must include in Thor? Certainly aggression is pretty popular with him, so we'll see what those are. But yeah, you can give me whatever. If you want me to play Venom or some of those, then that's fine. With the recent ones, I'd love to go back and play some of the core box heroes. If somebody has a Captain Marvel, I'd actually love a Captain Marvel leadership deck. If somebody has that, using some of the more, I want to call them modern cards, but the more recent cards. I haven't played a lot of Captain Marvel leadership. She's one of my favorite heroes. So everybody's always saying, oh, Captain Marvel leadership's so good. And I've really only done the alter ego one where you stay in alter ego. So I'd love to see that. My thoughts on the Hood. I think it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to add a lot of modular sets. I don't know that the Hood encounter is going to be that interesting. However, if you go off of them, like Green Goblin and Kang are probably two of the best scenarios we have. Green Goblin mutagen formula. The other one's okay. Risky Business. It's okay. It's kind of an easier one. And I think it's good to have one that's a little bit easier like Rhino. So it made sense when it did. But the Green Goblin pack coming with tons of modular sets plus 2 Green Goblin scenarios. And the Kang one I think is probably considered the best scenario in the game. It is long. So I see that being an issue for some people. So I think that those scenario packs have been really good. I know not as many people are a fan of the Wrecking Crew, and I get it. I enjoy playing the Wrecking Crew, but it is a little bit different. It can either be easy if you play in the easy mode, and then, boy, if you play 4 players, like just try Wrecking Crew 4 players sometime, and it's a whole different ball game with all the health that they have. It's a lot. So, what hero am I excited for next? Let's see. What has been announced? Yeah, so Nebula and War Machine have been announced. Is there another one? I know there's other things that have been leaked. I think those are the 2 that have been announced, right? Oh, and there's also Adam Warlock and Spectrum. I think of those, it's probably Spectrum that I'm most interested in. I like what they did with Adam Warlock, but I think it's going to be too limited. To only have 1 card of something in there. Nebula looks interesting. She looks like playing a deck building game, like, these deck building styles like Clank and Dominion and games like this that people really like. Star Realms, Hero Realms has a Kickstarter right now for the digital version, I know. She looks like she's going to be like that, like trying to draw a lot of cards and put things together. I think Spectrum looks the most interesting to me. That feels almost like a World of Warcraft character. You're like switching stances and specs or whatever it is. Like, oh, I'm going to be in this now and that now. So I think that sounds pretty interesting. I want to try that out. How is my sound, by the way, for people that are on here? Is the sound good? Am I quieter than normal? I'm a pretty loud talker, so I assume it's okay. But on my little thing here, it feels like it's a little lower than normal. I'm sure somebody would have said something prior in terms of all that. Yeah, I think Adam Warlock will be interesting. I really like Spider-Woman. I think she's still the best solo. I mean, it's hard to say that Doctor Strange isn't the best character all around, and I know that Cap protection is with the stun lock is really interesting. But I think that Spider-Woman is the best solo character for sure that we have there. So I'm interested in Adam Warlock. I definitely would like to try it. Yeah, I'm definitely using my teacher voice. It's really my theater voice is what it is. I was just teaching acting in the morning. There's a camp that I'm teaching at, and I do acting classes for an hour or 2 in the morning with all the kids there. So that was fun. So Nebula sounds interesting in terms of getting all these things out there. Adam Warlock, I feel like the deck building is just going to be weird. It's going to be, I don't know, even Gamora is that way to me. Like, you can include these 6 extra cards, so it's like, well, I'm going to include these 6. It's just however I'm rotating. Like, nobody's including leadership cards because there's not any attack ones. So you kind of end up with the same, so it doesn't feel as interesting on that front. Although I think Gamora's great. She's really fun to use, but the deck building isn't as interesting there, I don't think. So I think Spectrum is the one that's kind of the wild card, so I'm most excited for it. I think War Machine is gonna be one of those characters that you might be able to find some way. I think like Venom, he's gonna be very well rounded to play because his kit is just very what do you need at what time and can you draw them. I'm extremely excited for Thanos. I do hope and I do predict that that box is going to be easier than Galaxy's Most Wanted, and I think that's going to be the most interesting part of the whole thing. Is I think the level of difficulty is going to come back down to what it was on Rise of Red Skull, and I think there's some people are going to say, "Oh, finally I can play this. This is way more fun as a campaign," and there's other people are going to say, "Oh my gosh, how is Thanos easier than Ronin?" So that's kind of my prediction there, and then where does it go? Overall, I'm not worried about the campaigns. I'm happy to play a campaign. I loved Rise of Red Skull because literally my family could put on a movie and then I could just play the Rise of Red Skull campaign with a hero while we were watching the movie, and it felt like I could get it done in about 2 hours, so it was good timing on that front. But Galaxy's Most Wanted wasn't there. I needed like a quiet room and a quiet space and curate my deck for each encounter. Which is neat, but a little frustrating. It would be nice to see Rocket and Groot get through those. I don't know if anybody's tried Rocket Aggression and Groot Protection with the new cards that are added in. But I don't know that Aggression and I guess Bring It really makes a difference. Is it Bring It or Bring It On? I think it's just Bring It, right? Yeah, Bring It. Bring it! That card will probably help a lot for Rocket. I don't know what helps Groot a ton. Shake It Off doesn't help him, even though I think it's a great card because he doesn't take damage. So it's tricky on that front. But I'm definitely excited for the Thanos box. We'll be covering that. I got to figure that out. It's going to come to our store the Tuesday before it releases on Friday. So my plan is to do 2 streams because last time we did that 1 6-hour stream. So I want to do a stream and show off all the cards and kind of get in and play the first 2 and then do a stream where we play the last 3. So I think we'll do that over Tuesday and Wednesday is what I learned from our last one. So I still want to knock it out pretty quick. But that Wednesday is also my first day of school, back to school. So that's just going to be exciting to see how all that goes in terms of timing and everything. But I think it's just one of those things. I'll be so excited for Thanos that I'm not going to want to set it aside. Unless I try to do something like Larry and I just play it off stream and then we get on there and talk through some things. But I think people will be excited. So I'm going to pick Spectrum. I'm hoping he'll pick Adam Warlock, but I'll probably give Larry first dibs on that. So there's that. The hood with all the modulars I think is really interesting. I think that's going to be one of my big focuses now is more than what villain. It's going to be like, what modular do you want me to include? And try to think about those things. And of course, there's the modulars with the standard and expert, which you can change, which I think is a really exciting part of all that. So it should be really good. Yeah, exactly. Thanos comes out and then school is starting, so that'll be that piece. But yeah, we'll get those plays in, so that should be good. I'm excited for those Thanos. Yeah, I'm excited about Thanos that maybe, I don't know, it's hard to say the story will be more cohesive, like just the flow will be more cohesive, I think is what I'm looking for. I'm not overly worried about story. I think at the end of the day, this game is very mechanical, and that's what I like about it, and I'm okay with a lack of a major story. Like, I show up, and I need to fight you, because you're trying to do something bad. And that doesn't bother me. But I thought in Galaxy's Most Wanted, there were just weird things like, oh, you get punished for doing well. So that just didn't feel great, even if they're trying to say, oh, you're good, so we're going to make it harder for you. I understand what they're doing there, but I'm okay with them saying, hey, the better you do, the better you're going to get. And I don't think that market card was good enough. So, no, the market cards were great. They weren't interesting because I couldn't guarantee I'd even see one in a player when I would get it, so that was tricky in terms of that. So I hope they'll do a lot more there. The Hood 9 modulars is going to be great. Like I said, the standard and expert sets are going to be awesome. I think those are going to be great because then I can almost step through the difficulty of a villain. I'll be excited to do something with the Hood where it'll be like, let me play on standard difficulty, standard 2, expert, expert 2, and just play a series of decks right through that. I think will be really fun. All right, let's see what else is here. Who will you give the Infinity Gauntlet first after Thanos? What villain will I give it to? Who would get I think it's got to be Kang, right? Kang traveling through time and space with the Infinity Gauntlet. That would just be so much more chaos happening there. I think it'd be interesting on Drang, too. Drang, I think, is the best encounter in Galaxy's Most Wanted. I really like the Drang fight. That's the best one to me, where they add the double, where you have to add two threat per encounter per player. I think that's really interesting in Drank, because it really feels like, okay, there's this attack on Earth going on, and it is imminent. So I think it's really interesting there. I wish they had dropped it like on Nebula and other people like that. It just gets overwhelming on Nebula. It's a pain to get rid of those characters. You can see in the one I played today, I just ignored them and powered her down. Yeah, Ultron could be really interesting. He already messes with so many things. Ultron to me is honestly the perfect fight. I think it's the best scenario in the game in terms of like design. I think Kang is the most fun where you're working your way forward, but I think Ultron is the best fight. I just think it's the perfect random element splashed in, where your cards are disappearing, you're discarding cards, so you can't guarantee you're going to see any specific card. In terms of, I think when I did my Venom play against Ultron, I was talking about he took my multi-gun as the first card. It was like, oh my gosh, that would be a pain. So then you just have to work your way through again, and I just think it's so interesting because he's not so deadly that you can't do that, so you have time to build and everything, but he's stealing your cards all the time, and I love that. I love that random element. Whereas if you played Ronin and he was stealing cards, he hits so hard you're dead anyway that you'll never get your cards back again. So I think, to me, Ultron is the best fight. So speaking of Ultron, you can watch me tonight with Peter on One Stop Co-op Shop. I will be there playing Rocket Raccoon Aggression against Ultron and the Badoons. It is going to be an absolute minion slaughter, and I'm going to trigger this ability so many times. Murder you, murder you, murder you, murder you, murder you, murder you. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to draw so many cards. If somebody wants to do a card count of how many cards I draw, it should be really fun. Peter's going to be playing Venom Protection, so that'll go really well with Rocket, because then he can block some things and heal and help out with me, so that I can focus on that. So it'll be a little bit focused on this Rocket deck. I've played it a bunch lately, and it's not fair, is all I will say, against Ultron. Turn 3, once you're set up, you're still alive. It's amazing. So yeah, that is really cool too. The countdown to when you lose. Yeah, Ultron to me is it's the best designed villain fight so far in the game, I think, from a mechanics standpoint solely. I think Kang is the most interesting story. It really feels like you're traveling around in terms of all those things. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining me, for watching afterward. Go ahead and give a thumb up to the video. Like, share the channel with other people. We're at like 420 subscribers. That's so awesome. You'll see lots of other playthroughs. So find me on One Stop Co-op Shop. We'll play Meadow next week from the store. I need to do a podcast. If you haven't listened to our podcast, Portal Gaming Podcast, you can go over there. 170 episodes or so of reviewing games over the last 6 years. So if you like things other than Marvel Champions, you can go there and hear reviews of games. And I am 2 months from going to Gen Con. I'll be working, I believe, at the Capstone booth, teaching games for Capstone Games. So I will be at Gen Con if anybody's going to be in Indianapolis. So there's that. Thanks, everybody. I will see you next time. Nothing streaming this weekend. My daughter is in a show, and our goddaughter's over for the weekend. So I will not be streaming this weekend. I will catch you next week, most likely on Tuesday with Meadow. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll have more of Marvel Champions next week, too. Until